Hey guys, Eric here, and welcome to the Best of PAX 2013 video, in which I will be discussing the things that caught my interest and just looked beyond fantastic at PAX 2013, because that's where I was this weekend, and I had a blast at the show. You can watch my previous vlog of my thoughts on the whole weekend, and we will actually jump right into the list, because I have a list right here. And if my editing prowess, which is only good audio-wise, I'm still getting used to video stuff, so we'll see how good it is. But without further ado, as I was saying, yeah, we'll get right into the list and start with it's not in like a numbered order. I just want to specify that because I don't like doing numbered things because it makes it sound like 10 or like 15, would be the least you're looking forward to, and 1 would be the most you're looking forward to. So without like, I'll probably even jump around in the list, and it's not a particular list because I'm actually starting with Transistor, which, for those that don't know, Transistor is the next game from the guys that gave us the very awesome Bastion, which, for those that haven't played Bastion, go play Bastion, because it's an absolutely fantastic game. And Transistor, I'll actually link to a much more experienced YouTuber's video on it. I'll link to Total Biscuit's video, because he did a video on the demo itself that shows you exactly why that game looks awesome. From the start of this demo, that I actually got to play it on Friday night at the media and exhibitor. I don't know what mixer. There we go. That's what you call it. But yeah. Transistor. So the demo, just right off the bat, starts you over with this amazing voiceover, which pulls you in right off the bat. There's this beautiful music being played that sounds like nothing I've ever heard before. And playing through this demo, it had these really cool gameplay mechanics. You freeze time and just strategize what moves you're going to do where. And the story is enthralling. And like I said, that voiceover is just... I've never had the reaction that I had to this game to anything before. It was that, I'm looking for the right word, that lethargic, maybe? That, there's just something about it that just, it's really good. And it won't be coming out until 2014, which is disappointing, but after playing that demo, it's definitely going to be worth the wait. I'm very excited to see exactly where they go with this, because that demo, just insane. And moving on from my list, and most of my stuff in this, if not all of it, actually, all of it except for one game, is indie stuff. So that's actually pretty interesting, but and it won't be surprising as to what that game is, but yeah, Wind Forge was a game that I found just walking around randomly, and the developers pulled me in, and those guys were really cool, really funny, and their game is very addicting. It reminds me a lot of Terraria, but a much more realistic art style. The creatures are a bit cooler. Yeah, a bit cooler, because there's like a dragon, and you can fly around in these vehicles that you make, and you can find these different areas and create things, and it was just very fun, very addicting to play. Even though I completely sucked at it, it took me a while to get used to the keys in that game, and it was very fun to play it, and it's going to be interesting to find out more, and I can't wait to catch up with those guys very soon to maybe even have them on the show and to help promote the game whenever it does come out, because that build that they had of the game looked pretty polished. So it'll be interesting to see just how much that changes with the final build and when they do release it. And actually, up next we will talk about Awesomenauts and their brand new map, because that is what they were at the show with. And this new map is I think it's, I'm blanking. And if you want more on on where this map comes from and all its origins, it's in the latest episode of the podcast. where I did a 14-minute long interview with the very cool developers behind Awesomenauts, and those guys are awesome. Hence, why their game is called Awesomenauts. They live up to that name. Their booth was very cool too, but the map has some new locations, like some hidden pouches that you'll be able to like completely change up your gameplay. Because if you're low on health, you can jump down into one of them and get some health, jump back into the fold, and like nothing ever happened, and completely change the tide of battle. And that's one of the reasons I'm very excited about this new map. It looks awesome, and it plays awesome. And I only won one match out of the 3 that I played. Sometimes I can suck at that game. Other times I'm amazing at that game, as you will hear in the interview when we talked about it. Let's see, we'll actually move on to 2 that are kind of similar, but very different in the way that they approach their storytelling mechanics. Because one of them, Daylight, is completely different every single time you play. So you're going to get a completely different experience each time you load the game up. Like for my experience and my playthrough, nothing happened. There was a lot of mood and sound completely messing with my brain, so I kept waiting for something to happen. But nothing happened on the demo that I played. Next guy that walks up as I'm talking to one of the developers gets a ghost to jump right out at him out of nowhere. And I was like, see? Okay, now I get that. I kind of wish that happened on my playthrough. But it was really cool, and I can't wait to see it come out because Daylight looks absolutely awesome. The next one I'm talking about is one I am extremely excited for, and this is one of the interviews I got to do over the weekend, and I'm talking, of course, about Outlast. And Outlast takes place in an asylum that you go to investigate, and your character is this investigative reporter, just trying to find out what's going on all these reports that he's heard. Next thing you know, you fall through the basement and are awoken by a mysterious pastor who, to say the least, was very weird. That scene that happens, and then the next thing you know is you're pretty much running for your life and trying to survive before this big Hulk-like monster rips you into pieces, which he did to me twice. And actually, I heard a story from the first day that they were there. Someone almost destroyed the booth getting that freaked out at the game. So, I mean, I wasn't scared at the game, but that's because I was waiting for the jump to happen each time. Like I've seen the trailer, I knew what to expect, and it still enthralled me. I cannot wait to play this game when it comes out, honestly, because it's pretty. It was very fun to play, and the stealth you kind of have to focus on stealth at moments instead of being able to fight back. This isn't like a run and gun kind of thing. This isn't like a use a wrench like in BioShock to beat the hell out of some guy that's coming after you. You flat out have to hide from the things that are coming after you because you're just this normal average human who has no sense of powers and no abilities behind him. So I can't wait to see the final product. I will be covering the final product when it comes out, and hopefully I'll be talking to these guys more, because they, along with and I'll be talking about Secret Ponchos in a minute, but Secret Ponchos, I think Daylight, and I think 3 or 4 more developers that I talked to were all like a mix of guys who have worked on, like the big stuff and worked for the big companies like Ubisoft and like Blizzard and worked on games like Assassin's Creed and all that kind of stuff, which is insane to think that guys that worked on all these huge AAA titles are now going over to the indie side of the fence and get the chance to kind of do their own thing and really play around with their own IP. And it's going to be interesting to see exactly how much all of these live up to the hype, and to see if these developers become forces to be reckoned with. And I think from everything I've played so far, they more than will be. and I am looking forward to playing each and every single one of these games. And like I said, since I just mentioned it, might as well talk about Secret Ponchos. Secret Ponchos was a game that I had no idea about. It was in between Blizzard's booth and I want to say League of Legends. Yeah, I think it was Blizzard and League of Legends. I know it was one of the bigger ones. I know Blizzard was one of them, but I can't remember who the other one was. But yeah, they were right between them, and they're just this small company developing this awesome game that is almost a spaghetti western. You create this mercenary from these different types of mercenaries that they have. It kind of has a MOBA elements to it. You know, like similar to like Awesome Knots or some other or League of Legends or that kind of game, as well as shooter elements to it. Kind of a Red Dead Redemption kind of thing, and it's this really fun, unique mix between all these different things that when I played it, I became addicted fast. I kept dying repeatedly. I think I only got like 3 or 4 kills in, but it's you get 2 different main moves. There's a jump button. There's special attacks, and all the different classes are really interesting. The art style is truly unique, and it's this beyond awesome game, and I cannot wait to play it. I believe they just announced that they got a deal with at least Xbox Live and the PSN networks. And I know they told me specifically that they want to go on Steam. So I don't know which version of the game I'll play. Probably the Steam version. But I'm looking forward to Secret Ponchos coming out. And yeah, it's a really cool looking game, and I cannot wait to play it. And I was talking about in the PAX East vlog part that I don't usually cover iOS games, but there were a couple that stuck out to me. And I will talk about my favorite one last, but there was Jungle Rumble, which is this Jungle Rumble. Yeah, there we go. I can talk. Which is this iOS tap the screen to the beat kind of game that it threw me off completely, because not only was I going on maybe like 2 hours of sleep at that point, but the floor was loud around it, so I kept missing out on how to play it exactly. But it was very fun and pretty addictive pretty fast, and I will definitely be playing the final version of that build. And another one, let's see, where is it? Orion's Forge, which was very similar to kind of the tap thing, but this was a puzzle game in which you moved certain things with your finger and to get this light to kind of get these stars up in the air to craft this really cool mythological story. And I had a blast playing it, and the developer who was walking me through it was a really nice guy, and he was really cool to talk to. And yeah, I can't wait to play it again, because I'm big on puzzle games sometimes, and that was a very fun puzzle game. And another one, and this is my third one, and this I was saving the best for last. This is on iOS devices, but it's also going to be on the PC, and I know for a fact I will be playing a build of this game, because the developer, he said he would be emailing me with it, and I will be doing a full-on review about it, and I'm sure we'll be having him on him and maybe some more of the team on the podcast. But game I'm talking about is actually called Saturday Morning RPG. And yes, it's exactly what you think it is. It's turn-based. The humor is very funny, and there's references to everything from Juicy Fruit to the zebras come out and then attack for you. You get this Care Bear move that you just shoot a rainbow out at the bad guys that you're facing. So many different moves. It's tough to remember them all. There's the Dragon Ball Z kind of charge up thing that you just repeatedly touch this button with. They had the game running on the Ouya, which is that new I might have just butchered the pronunciation, but it's a new like console. I've heard about it in passing, but like I said, I'll probably be playing the PC version of the game, so I'm not sure how differently it will run. Like there was even a scratch and sniff thing that they had on the controller that you would scratch to help build up your power, and it was the story of the game very fun. There were different moments in the playthrough that you would jump through, and I cannot wait to play more because it was very intuitive, very easy to pick up and play, and I cannot say enough positive things about it because it got my attention right off the bat. Like the second I saw this thing, I'm like, I have to stop there and play it because it's very funny and very unique, and I've never seen anything like it. And you can tell they put all the love in the world about it. So I cannot wait to play more, and it should be interesting to see just what they've done with the game. And we actually move on to something that is two things that are currently on Steam Greenlight. I will actually talk about Delver's Drop first, because before the show, I'd seen both Northern Lion and my friend Josh Mattingly of Indie Static. I'd seen both of those guys play Delver's Drop a lot and talk about it a lot. So when I was able to stop by their booth, I personally wasn't able to play the game, but I was able to watch several people play it, and they looked like they were having a blast playing it. And it's a roguelike game, which, similar to something like Binding of Isaac or the original Zelda, which this, you can see my necklace is from Zelda. But yeah, it looks like a lot of fun. Like I said, it's on Steam Greenlight, and I'll try to provide the links to everything I'm mentioning that I can provide the links to in the show notes below, as well as link to the podcast as I usually do. But it looks fun. I cannot wait to play it, and I hope it does get greenlit, as well as this next one that I'm about to talk about, and give my new friend Chris a shout out, because his game, Raise the Dead, is kind of a spiritual successor to a game that I know many people will remember if they're a fan of cult favorite games on the original Xbox, and I'm talking, of course, about Stubbs the Zombie, but Ray is the name of the lead character that you play, hence Raise the Dead, the play on words. And this is also on Steam Greenlight, and having played the demo as long as I did on the show floor, because this is one I actually got to play the demo on, just like Outlast and Daylight, it was very fun, very intuitive. It's really funny to play as this horde of zombies, and this main zombie controlling all these different zombies. You get zombie dogs. You turn different humans. As you'll see in the trailer, if I can properly throw it into the actual episode. If not, I'll just link to it underneath. You can jump out at the humans, like you can set up traps and jump out at them to turn them, and the humor of the game is fantastic. And like I said, playing through this game was one of the more memorable things of the weekend. It's that good, and this better get greenlit. And I know I'll be covering it as much as possible on here, on the podcast whenever I can get Chris and the rest of the team on the show, and we'll just go from there. Those guys were nothing but cool to me, and it was great getting to know them over the weekend. And let's see, what else do we have to talk about here? Like I said, the only AAA title I covered all weekend was Saints Row the 4th, which I will be doing a full-on write-up for the outhouses.com very soon, and that was a blast to play. That was a blast to play, as if I got hands-on with it. That was a blast to watch the preview that they provided. The preview was run by one of the lead developers, Jim Boom, who was a really funny, really nice guy, and it was great to meet him and hear him talk about the game in such affection. And you get superpowers. You're the president of the United States. You've been captured by aliens. Yeah, that's right. The leader of the Saints is now the president of the United States. And if you play a female character in the game, female president, I'm pretty sure that's a first for not only gaming, but a first for a lot of popular culture. And there's a dubstep gun. There's an inflato ray which just blows people up, Like I said, you get superpowers. It looks like fun. It's coming out on August 20th, which is surprising. And I forget that that Saints Row 3 came out 3 years ago. So I'm looking forward to getting my hands on that, and I cannot wait to play more. Like I said, my write up will be on the outhosters.com, which I will definitely throw in the show notes if this goes up after that. I'm not sure if it'll go up after that. I'm not entirely certain on that, but yeah. Um, that was the only AAA title I covered. I'm just looking through the other games that I want to talk about. There was a game that I really liked because when I got to play the demo of this, they pulled me over to play the demo, and I had a lengthy conversation with the tester of the game. And this game is called High Strangeness, and you switch between 8-bit and 16-bit. It is very Legend of Zelda. They said specifically how it was inspired by Legend of Zelda, and it felt like a classic platformer. And the gameplay mechanics of switching between the two was very intuitive and very easy to pick up and learn how to do. And the story was pretty awesome because you're just this normal guy who suddenly gets sucked into this weird world where he has to deal with everything, and wasn't a platformer. It was very much like Legend of Zelda, and there are puzzle elements. There are just really cool art style, and it was something that I really enjoyed playing. So I cannot wait to play the full thing of that game. And next we talk about an actual platformer such puzzle game called Contrast. And I talked to the developer of Contrast, the lead of the studio, who is a very cool guy to talk to. I keep fixing my glasses, sorry. They just keep bothering me on camera, guys. But yeah, Contrast was just this really fascinating game where you play as this character that can jump into the shadows, which will help you get around to different elements, and it was really cool. I've never played anything like it, and I mean it's similar to other games as you'll hear in the interview in the podcast, and they said it will be ready around May, so I'm definitely going to be playing the full thing, but and on my PC, obviously. Well, my laptop. This thing that I'm recording on that just got all shaky because I touched the screen. But I gotta stop doing that. But yeah, it's this really unique, fascinating platformer where you switch into the shadows. You move light to help you solve these puzzles, to help you jump into the shadows. There's stuff that'll push you at moments if you do something wrong, and then you'll be forced out of the shadows and have to restart that area. And I cannot wait to play the full thing because from a story standpoint, we were talking about how it has a strong female lead character, and that was something that came up in the interview, and he gave me a very cool answer, which I cannot wait for you guys to hear more of. And it was just it's like I said, it's called Contrast, and it was one of my favorites of the convention, and I really enjoyed every minute I got to spend playing that game because it's like nothing I've ever played before. And I mean, like I said, most of these are indie games, and I know I'm a little biased, but that's because each and every one of these games that I played had some interesting characteristic that could pull you in, and it made you wonder why no one is trying these things that these independent developers are trying, and that pull you in and make you want to play this stuff. And let's see, I talked about all that stuff. And talked about Raise the Dead. Yeah, I did. Oh yeah. The one thing I haven't played about is one of the ones I played the most this weekend, and that was Smash Muck Champions. And I will be doing actually I'm looking for the right word. A swag video of some of the stuff I got over the weekend, and I got two very cool things from them. Yeah, two very cool things from them. They were a really awesome developer. I'm blanking on their press person's name, and that makes me feel really bad because we talked a lot over the weekend, and I just finally got to start playing the game because it's a little similar to it has enough differences to Awesome Knots to make it appealable on its own, but it does remind me a little of Awesome Knots because you do have 3-on-3 or 5-on-5, which is different from Awesome Knots, and it's a very fun game. The characters are all uniquely designed, and I will be doing full on stuff for this very soon. And they're another developer I got to talk to for the podcast. Only 4 developers on the podcast, but yeah, it was Smash Mouth Champions is a game that I'd highly recommend. The beta is open as we speak on both Steam and, well, I think you need a key to the Steam. Excuse me, a beta key to the Steam download, but it's a game that I definitely would highly recommend checking out. I will throw their link in the show notes below. But I'm trying to think if there's anything else I haven't really talked about. I've talked about oh, there was a game that reminded me a lot of Cave Story, and I didn't get to get hands on with it, but I watched people playing it, and it's called A.N.N.E or A.N.N.E. And I emailed back and forth with the developer before the game. My cell phone's going off. I do not recognize the number, so I will not pick up. That threw me off completely. I'm not editing that out. That's just annoying. Let me put it on vibrate at least. Oh, no, it stopped ringing. Okay. And yeah, it reminds me a lot of Cave Story. And I was emailing back and forth with the developer, and I was able to stop by the booth, but they were pretty busy each time I tried to stop by the booth. So hopefully I'll get to talk to him a little more at length. I know they're launching a Kickstarter for the game very soon, and everything I saw for it looks promising, especially because it looks a lot and plays a lot like what Cave Story did. And Cave Story is an awesome game that if you've never played before, look it up, play it. You will thank me. But that's actually, I think, that's the last thing on my list. Oh, nope, sorry. There was one more iOS game called Fire with Fire that the developer pulled me over, and we had a very short conversation with. And it's a castle defending game, but you play versus another person as opposed to regular tower defense games that you play against. I really wish my phone would stop going off. That you play against actual people and not like an AI. Why did I say AI in an Australian accent? I don't know. But yeah, it was a really unique take. They're not done with the game, but I gave them my business card, and hopefully I'll be playing more at length when that comes out. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Hopefully you check out some of the games that I recommended. If you did enjoy this, definitely leave a thumbs up below. Thumbs up. And yeah, I will see you guys on the next video. Thanks as always for watching. Definitely check out the podcast if you haven't already, if you're new to my videos. And I will see you guys on the next video that I record. Thanks for watching as always, and I'll see you later, guys.